Hello and welcome to this special edition of Arirang News, live from Seoul. I'm Shin, and it's a little before 10 a.m. on Thursday, September 28th, and we're breaking away from our usual news lineup at around this time to bring you live coverage of Korea's 69th Armed Forces Day ceremony. Now, South Korea military will be putting some of its strategic weapons on display to show off its strong national defense power and deterrence capability, and also in part to honor the men and women who've served the country both past and present. And this year's ceremony comes just 4 days prior to its annual anniversary set on the first day of October, as that day falls in the middle of Korea's 10-day Chuseok holiday. And this year's event is also garnering extra attention as it comes at a critical point for inter-Korean relations, especially at a time when the security situation on the Korean Peninsula is particularly tense, with the U.S. and North Korea exchanging aggressive words for weeks now. And we will walk you through some of the issues surrounding the Korean Peninsula during the event, so be sure to stay with us till the end. And in a short while, we'll go live to the headquarters of the Navy's Second Fleet in Pyeongtaek, some 70 kilometers south of capital Seoul, where the event will be held. But before that, I want to bring in our professor, Kim Young-jun from Korean National Defense University, to help us better digest today's event. Thanks for coming in, and great to have you today with us, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to talk about this issue. Yeah.
Sure. And I want to start with the location of where today's ceremony is being held. I understand it's the first time since the founding of the Army that the South Korean government is holding its annual event at a naval base. Any significance there, Professor?
That's is very significant because usually they have a kind of military parade in Garyongdae area because it was a kind of place for Army headquarters and Navy headquarters and the Air Force headquarters. But it was changed, especially after the sixth nuclear test by North Korea. So it is kind of a special message, especially psychological effect on North Korea and the international community that we have a kind of strong defense capability, especially focusing on jointness, including Navy, Air Force, and ground forces. If we have a kind of military parade in Garyong area, there will be no Navy ships or a kind of thing. So
because it's an inland of the peninsula.
Yes, right. So.
And also, that's the symbolicness, as you've mentioned, of that place is that the Second Fleet is strategically important and highly strategic when it comes to the naval defense, as it's in charge of the defending line of the northern limit line bordering the two Koreas. And it's also where the two Koreas had been engaging in several deadly incidents in the past, skirmishes in the waters close to that line. So I guess it is significant in that case. And just beforehand, what could we expect from today's event?
Today's event has several meanings, especially focusing on jointness, as I said earlier, and also a strong, powerful message on that we have a strong capability. Also, it is very interesting to show officially Hyunmoo 2 or 3 and missile system against the North Korean missile and nuclear weapons. So it is a special message to international community as well.
But it's not the first time that they're showcasing those
now, some weapon system as first time, but but everybody already know. But showing off in the official places is the first time. So.
And to give our viewers a little more information on what today's event entails, there will be some 3,500 people attending the event. That's including the top military officials and leaders of the country's political parties. But the heads of the main opposition Liberty Korea Party, Hong Jun-pyo, and the center-left People's Party, An Chol-soo, both former presidential candidates, are said to not attend the event. Now, Professor, it's the first time since such of a military-related event is taking place under the Moon administration. Would you assume some of the military or security-wise issues coming up during his event and his speech during the event today?
I expect many of maybe expect similar things, but Moon Jae-in administration fundamentally prefers peaceful solution against the North Korean nuclear weapons issue. But in this situation, especially including North Korea's 6th nuclear test, Moon Jae-in have to show kind of strong capability at first, and then maybe he emphasized on the peaceful solution in the late part of his speech today. So, yeah.
So both two-track approach, you're saying, both military-wise and security-wise, and peaceful way of resolving this crisis from his speech.
Yeah, in the end, yeah, as usual, as you see in the Berlin or kind of place, and even yesterday, yeah, so, yeah.
And I think we're going live to the location where the event is taking place, as President Moon is expected to arrive at the ceremony place in the Second Fleet in Pyeongtaek. And now we're seeing President Moon Jae-in on a convoy to the place where the ceremony is taking place, the Second Fleet Dive, as I've said, in Pyeongtaek, some 70 kilometers down south of capital Seoul, and with some top military officials, including the Combined Forces Command Chief.
작전 분야의 전문가입니다.
And this is a live feed we're seeing of President Moon and the top military officials driving in to the Pyeongtaek Naval Fleet.
As you see, the strong image because of the Navy commander accompanied with the President Moon.
That was the Navy
usually we
commander.
see the ground forces commander right. Yeah, just before, but
And
it is
because it is
also-
taking place at a naval.
Also, Pyeongtaek is everybody knows in the places for new headquarters for combined forces.
Right.
There's a lot U.S. alliance, a strong message as well. So Pyeongtaek is a special place now.
So not just because of its naval base, but because the new joint forces have moved down to Pyeongtaek,
yeah, ROC
it
U.S.
is a
alliances,
more
we can show the.
significant.
Yeah.
That is.
Also, this is a strong message. Also, we have a NLL issue and Yeonpyeong Island and the Cheonan incident is all about the West Sea, so Hwanghae area. So this is all kind of included that kinds of message as well. So I think this is a good place, even though many people some kind of criticize some radical change of place because of the administration issue. So, but yeah. And the Pyeongtaek, the Second Fleet has a special museum for Cheonan ship. So
Right, Cheonan warship
and many
that
people
went down
already visit.
years ago.
Have you been there? So yeah,
have not, but I've
I've been
heard.
there second times, in especially last month and yeah, the other day. So it was a great place to remember the service person.
And
Second.
just to chip in, what sort of a significance would today's ceremony entail, given that, as I've mentioned in earlier, that this comes at a time when North Korea and Washington has been exchanging harsh rhetorics, saying they're going to shoot down American warplanes if needed be, and President Trump not backing down one bit. And in the midst of all that, what would South Korea's display of military equipment what kind of a signal would that be to both countries?
Yeah, we have to remember Putin's military parade for Victory Day, especially during Ukraine crisis. At the time, Putin showed off the kind of strong capability. It was not the same case, but anyway, in the crisis situation, especially Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump already faced the aggressive war each other, sent a very strong message, and just like Lee Yong-ho message some days ago. So this is a very good opportunity in showing up. We have a strong capability, so you cannot start any kind of aggressive attack or a kind of unstable situation. You cannot start because we have a kind of defense capability. So this is a very good timing and very good place in showing up and in pursuing and peaceful Korean Peninsula in the end for both government as well.
So that means North Korea's Kim Jong-un would be watching today's ceremony being taken place in Korea to have his eye on to see what sort of military equipment Seoul has.
Yeah, that's not the first time. Maybe 1.5 hours he cannot see, but maybe some of them report kind of analysis report 3-page or 5-page from the 인민무력부. So yeah, he definitely check him.
In terms of the military readiness and its size of the troops of both Koreas, how would you assess the two Koreas' military capabilities, both in its technologies and its size of the troops? Because we do not have the exact details about North Korea's armed forces, as it's shrouded in secrecy, but estimates suggest that it does have the world's fourth largest military personnel. So how would you assess that, given such details?
Yeah, size, military size. We always check military capability in terms of military size, kind of number of soldiers or what weapon the country has. But it was not exact assessment because of, the military history show many cases that one or two or three single weapon system does not guarantee a victory war. But anyway, North Korea has a kind of number 4 military size and conventional weapon. But we also have a kind of very modernized weapon system, including several airplanes. We have a strong special forces as well. So it does not the same category, to compare each other. And war is very complex thing, not just military size or weapon system or single another. We can see the Vietnam or we can see Iraq war as well. U.S. has a strong military weapon system but does not guarantee any kind of victory of war. So, but in this case, anyway, North Korea has a very massive grounded forces and nuclear weapons. That's a problem. So we have to calculate and we have to have a defense capability against that asymmetric strategy of North Korea.
And we are getting a live feed of President Moon stepping off of his vehicle and shaking hands with some of the top military officials as he makes his entrance to the Second Fleet in Pyeongtaek. With the president, we are seeing Defense Minister Song Young-moo and the commanders-in-chief of both the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force.
Some people might say because of Song Young-moo, Defense Secretary is Navy, that's why he chose the place of Pyeongtaek. Yeah, probably, but it does not matter because Moon Jae-in administration is more focusing on three services.
I think it does have multiple reasons as to why the government have chosen this location for today's event.
여러분들 계속해서 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
So for Moon Jae-in administration, it is very important event, especially in terms of military leader. He is commander chief of staff, so yeah, this is very important event as well officially.
And President Moon Jae-in making his entrance and onto the stage as he is set to give a pledge of allegiance and to Korean flag and singing of the national anthem with a silent tribute to patriotic martyrs to follow. Shaking hands with some of the familiar faces of the political parties. And the event is set to take place as we speak.
Now we will begin the 69th Armed Forces Day ceremony. First of all, allegiance to the national flag. For those of you who are on the podium, please face the flag. Allegiance to the flag. I, before the proud 태극기, solemnly swear that I will dedicate myself for the glory of a free and just Republic of Korea. Next, the 애국가, national anthem, will be sung in unison from verses 1 to 4. It will be sung together with exemplary soldiers from Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. As exemplary soldiers, we have Army Lieutenant Chung Ji-eun, who was the first female to pass the ROK U.S. Expert Infantryman Quality Test, and Navy Master Chief Petty Officer Ko Sun-hee, and Air Force Squadron Leader Shin Hyun-in appointed as a top pilot, and we have Marine Corps Private First Class Kim Sang-soo.
이어서
Next, a moment of silent
거부
tribute
명령에
to the
대한
patriot
공명을
martyrs who
올리겠습니다.
sacrificed for the country.
일동
Silent tribute.
대한민국 국군에는 장군이 6.25 전쟁과 월남전
There are those who fought on the Korean Peninsula and against North Korea, and they have guarded the security of the Korean Peninsula and the world. And they have sacrificed for the nation. And now we pay tribute to their sacrifices, and we once again reassure the strong military deterrence power. And we stand here on the proud Republic of Korea, and we will always remember their sacrifice.
바로 예빈 여러분께서는 자리에 앉아주시기
Please be
바랍니다.
seated.
다음은 열병이
Next, we'll
있겠습니다.
proceed with military parade.
대통령께서는 하단하셔 열병 차량에
We'll
탑승하시겠습니다.
now escort onto the convoy.
And now, as the military parade begins, President Moon and his convoy will embark on their round. Now, Defense Minister Song Young-moo is also going to be in the same vehicle as the president, the one leading the pack at the very front, as you can see, who is also the supreme commander of the South Korean military. And the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Chung Kyung-do, the newly appointed Chief of Army, Kim Yong-woo, are in the second vehicle, trailing right behind the first with the president. And lastly, on the third vehicle will be the Chief of Naval Operation, Admiral Hyun-sung, and the newly named Air Force Chief of Staff, General Lee Wang-gun.
잠시 후 대통령께서 국군 통합군악대, 육군 의장대,
And the defense minister had previously hinted that the army will showcase basically all weapons South Koreans got. And among the list of the weapons, these you might want to keep an eye on, as Professor Kim had mentioned briefly, the Hyunmoo-2 and Hyunmoo-3 ballistic missiles, and the Army Tactical Missile Probe System, Patriot PAC PAC-2 air defense missiles, and the MSAM surface-to-air missiles, as well as deterrence and the SLAM-ER air-to-ground
오늘
missiles.
행사를 총지휘하고 있는 제병지휘관 박신원 육군소장은 학군 24기로
There you see the president and the defense minister Song Young-moo in the first convoy as they parade on to
현재 제37 보병 사단장직을 수행하는 정책부서와 야전을 두루 경험한 작전 분야의 전문가입니다. 제병지휘부 참모는 정문황 육군준장, 박영식 해군준장, 김정태 공군준장, 김대환 해병대 준장으로 편성돼 있습니다.
And for those of you tuning in just in, we are here bringing you this special coverage of the Early Armed Forces Day ceremony, marking its 69th already this year. And this day is to commemorate the day when South Korean and the UN forces, that is, reclaimed the 38th parallel line, the separating line between the two Koreas during the Korean War.
국군의 역사와 명예를 상징하는 국군 통합 군기단입니다.
from this event, we have to consider about the image making of military power. As you have seen, it's very nice to see the peninsula in surrounding the sea. So we can be a sea power as well. Historically, we
Naval
didn't,
power,
but yeah,
boasting the
naval power as well, and more
대한민국을
future
보여주는
concept,
가장
not
높은
just as the
공공장벽.
ground forces power. So image making of this event is very strong message as well, and very successful, I think.
And this is, as you've mentioned, is the first time ever since the founding of the entire army that South Korea is holding such of an event at the headquarters of the Navy's Second Fleet in Pyeongtaek. Any reasons as to why they would not have been boasting Korea's naval readiness and its capabilities in the past?
Do you mean in the past we didn't have a kind of
Yes,
naval-
why? I'm wondering as to why it's first. As you've mentioned, it's important to boast the country's naval deterrence and its capabilities, given that it's a peninsula surrounded by all
Yeah,
three waters.
right.
But why would this be the first and not?
The first thing is just a bureaucratic issue. Yeah. This is getting the place or Seoul Gwanghwamun area or kind of place is more easy to do thing again and again and kind of thing. And second thing is Navy is kind of a second priority, especially against North Korea, because U.S. Army has a kind of capability of Navy things and Air Force thing rather than ground force thing. And our under the ROC U.S. alliances, our responsibility is for top priority is having great ground forces power. In this concept, Navy already the second place, but this message has so a kind of diverse message. President emphasized on Navy and Air Force power as well for the future.
대한민국의 영공을 굳건히 지켜나갈 공군상관학교 생도들입니다.
So we must see next year event.
So this
That would be
could
the place
open up a
maybe
door
Air
for
Force.
the government to be hosting such of an event at this location in the coming future, if
우리
necessary,
국군은
hopefully.
6.25 전쟁
Yeah.
당시 목숨 바쳐 자유민주주의를
Interesting.
수호했고
So,
전후 복구와 조국 근대화에 헌신했으며 어떠한 상황 속에서도
And as I said earlier, the
조국
second
수호의
fleet
박정희
is
군을
responsible for
완수해왔습니다.
defending West Sea, including NNL area. So we have a tragic history about the Cheonan incident and the Yeonpyeong Island attack and kind of thing. So this is also great meaning to defend any North Korean provocated conventional attack. We have to defend. We have a capability to defend them.
And in this live shot we're seeing much of the Korean Army's military equipment all in line, from K2 tanks to K21 infantry fighting vehicles. And anything you want to spot on, Professor?
Oh yeah, K9 is
Self-propelled
especially
artillery.
important artillery system, and it's very successful in the overseas area as an acquisition, export. Also, the highlight thing is trial system, as you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
As you mentioned earlier, Hyunmo 3 and Hyunmo 2, and Pak 2 and Cheonggung, and kind of weapon system. This is based on the tailored deterrence strategy between the ROC and US. And trial system is included the kill chain system and KAMD, Korea Air and Missile Defense System, and KMPR. This is similar to Eisenhower doctrine during the 1960 Korean massive punishment and retaliation. At the time, Eisenhower emphasized on any kind of Soviet Union's nuclear attack or ground forces attack in Europe area. He promised mass retaliation. So this is a very strong deterrence effect on the Soviet Union.
And we might be seeing more of the American strategic military weapons being stationed in and around the peninsula as The presidential office of Cheongwade has confirmed that South Korea and the U.S. says that it's going to deploy more of its military assets on the Korean Peninsula as well as around the region. So we might see more of these equipments going down the list starting next year.
Yeah, sure. So this is also important event for showing up the ROK-US alliances against North Korea provocation, including Jeremy Brooks today. So this kind of things support Moon Jae-in's promise to emphasize ROK-US alliances.
Strengthening the bilateral alliances.
Yeah, absolutely. And both countries last night, according to Chief of National Security Office Jung Woo-young, said that both countries agreed kind of strategic military asset, including maybe B-2 or B-10 bomber kind of thing.
Submarines as well, nuclear submarines.
Yeah, to rotational deployment
Right.
in the Korean Peninsula until later of this year. And both countries agreed last October 2016 extended deterrence strategy and consultation group EDSCG during the SCM meeting in Washington D.C. So this kind of strong message in ROK-US alliances.
And as you've briefly mentioned, Professor, the president will also present his medal to those who have served the country with honor, and for the first time in history, strengthening the bilateral relations with Washington and Seoul. The commander of the U.S. Forces, Korea General Vincent Brooks, will be one of the awardees of a state medal from South Korea for his dedicated service amid the ever-mounting tensions on the Korean Peninsula. And I was told that it's the first time ever, as never before has a U.S. FK commander received a state medal at an official event like this.
Yeah, so it was very important, especially before presidential election. Many people concerned about not many, but few people concerned about maybe Washington D.C. concerned about the Moon Jae-in administration, maybe Sunshine's policy kind of thing. But this is a strong message to the also Washington D.C. community area as well. Moon Jae-in emphasized on the ROK-US alliances.
And let's go straight to the scene.
We celebrate the 69th anniversary of our military, and we are today joined by the President and many distinguished guests. I would like to thank all of you. Today, we stand here at the 2nd Fleet Naval Fleet near the NLL of the West Sea, and to reassure our determinations. Please take a look at all of the soldiers in front of you. We are stronger than ever, and we have strong weapons with us. We stand here proudly today thanks to all the sacrifices that were made by our ancestors and those who fought for the nation and those who sacrificed for the independence of the country and those who fought during the Korean War. And all of them have made today's army possible. Furthermore, today, we are also joined by the young heroes of today. Not long ago, we had a very unfortunate accident, and we lost one of our army members and other servicemen. As the Minister of National Defense, I feel very deeply embedded as I stand here in front of the bereaved families. Even at a very dangerous and emergent moment, they stood to defend the country. And I heard that they also cared for for other servicemen even when they were hurt. And I cannot but shed tears when I heard such news. Ladies and gentlemen, servicemen must be like them. Servicemen must trust each other wherever they are, whenever it is. And the serviceman needs to always be united as one. We stand here in front of very important state-of-the-art weapons, but also what's important to us is the big trust and the credibility that the service members have. Today, we have the nation and the citizens who we must protect. And we have a very grave task and an order from the president, which is military reform. And through such military reform, we will overcome any of the threats from our enemies, and we will be ever more stronger to protect our citizens and homeland. This is our mission and our calling. And I, as the Minister of National Defense, I will stand at the forefront, and I will carry out my responsibility. I pledge this in front of you. Marking the 69th Armed Forces Day, I would like to once again thank the President and the distinguished guests for their presence. Today, we've shown you the capabilities that all of our military has, and please be proud of our nation's military. Thank you very much. Next, medals and citations will be awarded to individuals and troops that contributed to national security. The medals will be first awarded to individuals, followed by citations to the troops. The President will move to the front. Salute to the President. Rest. Please move towards the left to award the medals and citations. Order of Service Merit to the Commanding General Vincent Brooks. You have contributed greatly to the national security, and thus the following medal is awarded in accordance to the ROK Constitution. Order of Service Merit, 통일 Medal, September 28, 2017, President of the Republic of Korea. Please attach the medal on your shoulder and the sub-medal on your left chest. You have contributed greatly to the alliance between the Republic of Korea and the United States. And a flower bouquet will be given to his wife. Order of National Security Merit, Chunsu Medal, Non-Commissioned Officer Academy, Army Major General Lee Han-gi. The medal will be awarded. And to his wife, we will have flower bouquet.
호국 군장
Order
3일장
of National Security
해병대
Merit
사령부
Sam-il
해병대령
Medal, Marine Corps
진승원.
Captain Jin Seung-won.
훈장을 왼쪽 가슴에 달아주시겠습니다.
Please wear the medal on your left chest.
부인에게는
And to
꽃다발을
his wife, we will
수여하시겠습니다.
award a flower bouquet.
호국 포장 해군
Order
군수사령부
of National
사급
Security Merit, Naval
정외철
Logistics Command Ship Service Secretary Jung Eui-chul.
포장을 왼쪽 가슴에
Please wear the medal
달아주시겠습니다.
on your left chest.
부인에게는
To his
꽃다발을
wife, we will
수여하시겠습니다.
give a flower bouquet.
대통령 표창
Presidential
합동 군사대학교
commendation,
공군원사
Joint Military
김재환
College Chief Master Sergeant
수장을
Kim
오른쪽
Jae-hwan.
가슴에 달아주시겠습니다.
Please wear the medal on your right chest.
부인에게는
And to
꽃다발을
his wife,
수여하시겠습니다.
a flower bouquet will be given.
대통령께 대하여 경례
Salute to the President
바로
and rest.
이어서 우수부대
Next, we will
표창입니다.
be giving certifications for exemplary troops.
대통령께 대하여
And now the president presenting medals and citations to a handful of
바로
military units.
왼쪽으로 이동하시어 수여하시겠습니다. 표창장 육군 제2보병사단 위는 부대장 이하 전 장병이 임무를 성실히 수행하여 국가안전보장에 이바지한 공로가 크므로 이에 표창합니다. 2017년 9월 28일 대통령 이 사단은 확고한 전투준비태세와 창의적이고 실전적인 교육훈련체계 정착에 기여하였습니다.
Your Second Infantry Division,
대통령
yeah,
부대 표창
received the great
육군
honor.
제26
I cannot say
기계화보병사단
well the Second Infantry Division is because it is classified, yeah. But I served when I was an executive officer of Field Artillery Unit. I just worked in near Second Infantry Division, and they have a lot of exercise and they have a strong military capability. And we actually support the fire support the Second Infantry Division, and they are responsible for the eastern part of the operation.
최적의
the war
과학화 출입 통제 체계 구축에
occurring.
기여하였습니다. 대통령 부대 표창 해군 사관학교
Yeah, many
해군 사관학교는
Infantry Division is the main military power, especially for ground forces system, because they are under the ROC U.S. alliances, and Navy power and Air Force power is U.S. responsibility. So major power of the ROC Army is ground forces system, especially in the 2nd Infantry Division or 35th Infantry Division that received great honor today. It's very important mission, especially each part of the operation.
And through these events, giving honors to infantry divisions and individuals would also in part honoring the men and women serving in the army and also boasting of their spirit in countering any of the threats coming to Korea and the spirit of them serving the nation as well. So it is a crucial factor in boasting their spirits to serve the country.
Yeah, and we can see the diverse unit, including 2 infantry division and 1 mechanized unit, 26 mechanized infantry division. This is main responsible for the deploying of the operation unit in the war scenario. And also we can see the Korean Naval Academy as well today. and one American unit. Interestingly, so it has a diverse types of unit.
내빈
Yeah.
여러분, 표창을 수상한 개인과 부대의 지휘관 및 장병들에게 다시 한번 축하의 박수를
And then
부탁드립니다.
we will soon hear President Moon Jae-in give his commemorative speech addressing the entire military units.
부대 차렷.
부대 차렷.
다음은 대통령께서
Next, we will
기념사를
have-
하시겠습니다.
A commemorative speech by the president.
충성 기념사. 부대 열중시어. 부대 열중시어. 열중. 샷. 존경하는
Honorable fellow citizens,
사랑하는 국군 장병
officers and men of the armed forces, ladies and gentlemen,
군 69주년 국군의
celebrating the 69th Armed Forces Day, I believe it's very meaningful to reassure our strong desires for strong security and responsible national defense.
온 국민과 함께
I would like to celebrate the Armed Forces Day with all of our citizens.
오늘 이곳에서 대한민국 육해 공군의
Here
위용을
today, as I
한눈에
face
보니
all of the Army,
정말
Navy, and Air Force of the Republic of Korea, I feel great pride.
아주
I'm also
든든하실 것입니다.
confident that our citizens will feel
우리
the same.
군의 막강한 위용은
The great dignity of our military stands on the sacrifices of the military personnel
희생
made
위에 서
in order
있습니다.
to safeguard our
특히
homeland.
이곳 이함대 사령부는
Here, the Navy's
서해
Second
NLL을
Fleet, where we
수호하기
stand
위해
today,
죽음을
is where the
불사한
spirits of
우리
our
군의
Army
혼이
and
서려 있는
military
곳입니다.
that sacrifice their lives to defend our NLL in the West Sea lies.
오늘에
From the
이르기까지
independence movement against Japanese rule and liberation
기대가
army to today,
이 자리에
I believe their
함께하고
spirit
있다고
is
믿습니다.
always with us.
마리아니 실천으로 위국 헌신
I pay my deepest respect
군인본분의
for those
정신을
who have
보여주신
showed the
그
responsibility of
영전에
military personnel for
깊은
sacrifice
경의를
with not
표합니다.
just words.
유가족들께도
I also
위로의
send my
말씀을
deepest condolences to their families.
아울러 우리
Moreover,
군의 근간을 세운
The foundation of our military was rooted thanks to the contributions of veterans who founded the Army, Reserve Forces, or veterans who fought here at home and abroad, as well as the U.S. forces in Korea.
우리 군의
Thank you.
밑거름이
The Republic of
되었음을
Korea always remembers the importance of your contribution.
지금 이 순간에도
Ladies and gentlemen, even at this moment, 600,000 of our military servicemen are exerting efforts to carry out the mission given by the nation.
땅과 바다와
On the
하늘,
grounds, seas, and air of our homeland and through overseas dispatch, they are carrying out their own responsibilities.
국민들의 일상도
Thanks to them,
지켜지고
our
있습니다.
citizens are also being able to
우리는 그
carry out
사실을
the daily
늘
lives.
기억해야 합니다.
We need to always remember
자랑스러운
this fact.
우리 군 장병들의
I
보고를
applaud
시하며
the work by our
큰
military
동료의
servicemen,
박수를
and
보냅니다.
please send a big round of applause to all of them.
국민 여러분,
Fellow citizens,
국군 장병 여러분,
officers and men of the armed forces, what we seek is very clear.
한반도의 평화와
It is peace and prosperity on the Korean
우리의
Peninsula.
후세들은
Our future
자유롭고
generations
평화로운
need to
한반도에서
enjoy co-prosperity
공동의
on a
번영을
free
누려야
and
합니다.
peaceful Korean Peninsula.
우리에게는 그런 세상을 물려줄
And we have the
책임이 있습니다.
responsibility to pass on such world.
한반도의 평화와
Peace
번영은
and prosperity on the Korean Peninsula is an absolute responsibility given to the President under the nation's constitution.
절대 의무입니다. 전쟁의 참혹함을
For
경험한
us
우리에게
who have went through the despair of a war,
더 귀중한 가치가
there are no
없습니다.
values more valuable than
지금
peace.
한반도를 둘러싼 안보 위기가
Currently, the
그 어느 때보다
security crisis
고조되어
surrounding the Korean Peninsula is
우리에게
ever more
큰
tense.
인내와 고통을
It requires us
요구하고
to be
있습니다.
patient and to endure the pain.
우리의 평화 의지를
However,
꺾을
it
수는
cannot
없습니다.
stop our strong determination
우리는
for
반드시
peace.
이
We
위기를
will overcome the
이겨내고
crisis
평화를
and
지킬
secure
것입니다.
peace.
우리의 당면 목표도
The goal we
분명합니다.
face is also very
북한의
clear.
도발을 막고
We must stop
반드시
North Korea's
핵을
provocations
포기하도록
and
해야
must make the North
이를 위해
give up its
정부는
nuclear
최선을 다하고
weapons.
있습니다.
The administration is exerting full efforts. The ROK-US alliance is strong,
국제사회와의
and we
공조도
have close coordination with the rest of the
긴밀한
international
소통으로
society.
이루어지고 있습니다. 북한의 도발에 대해
The international
국제사회의
society's
대응은
response towards North Korea's
그 어느
provocations
때보다
is more
신속하고
immediate,
단합되어
firm,
있습니다.
and united than ever.
우리 정부의 입장과 평화수호 의지가
This shows that our administration's stance and determination to secure peace is being widely supported by the rest of the international
평화를
community.
수호하기 위한 우리 정부의
The
의지는
administration's desire to safeguard peace is based on strong military capability.
무모한 도발에는
We will stand against reckless provocations with strong punishment.
강한 안보 없이는
Without a strong
평화를
security,
지킬 수도
we cannot
평화를
protect peace,
만들어갈 수도
nor can we
없습니다.
make peace.
우리 군은 북한을
Our military
압도하는 전력을
possesses the power to overwhelm that of North Korea's. Based on robust ROK-US combined defense posture, the administration is intensifying its military readiness and exerting our full efforts to manage the situation's instability so that heightened tensions does not lead to military conflict.
한편으로 정부는
On one hand, the administration will accelerate intensifying our deterrence capability against North Korea's nuclear programs. The administration and military will have no hesitation in securing the safety of our citizens and homeland. On the front line of safeguarding the security of the public and the homeland, the military and the president will always stand together. Officers and men of the armed forces, as the military commander-in-chief, I would like to comment on the missions and a new beginning of our military. Military reform is an order from the public that can no longer be delayed. Stronger military reform will help us respond to rigid security situations and is a duty to protect the safety of our citizens and homeland. We must not let our citizens be concerned about the changes in the external conditions by enhancing our own security capabilities, stability, and credibility. Military reform is our task of discovering a new road to make military protect the citizens, who can in turn support the military. We need to boldly surpass the level of efforts and development we've pursued until now. The military needs to become a true agent of military reform, and we can go beyond the current status of military reform. Only then we will be able to glorify our own military history and realize a stronger security and responsible national defense. And for the success of the military reform, I, as the military commander-in-chief, I will exert my best to provide the best support possible. And I will make military reform successful together with the military. To this, I have several messages to the military. First, we must become a military of victory. Our priority is securing the deterrence capability against the North Korean nuclear and missile threats. The kill chain system, Korea air and missile defense system must be intensified. The Korea massive punishment and retaliation system must also be strengthened greatly. A strong three-axis system is a core military responsibility and capability developed our own military. So I urge you to exert your efforts to make early establishment of these systems possible. Moreover, ROK U.S. combined defense capabilities must also be strengthened. Only when we have an extended deterrence power can we fundamentally deter the provocations from the north. And a more stable and stronger combined defense system needs to be led by our military. Please exert your efforts for this. The administration aims to return the wartime OPCON as soon as possible. And based on a strong defense capability, an early OPCON transfer will help us develop our military capabilities. Only when we have the OPCON control, the North Korea will be even afraid of us, and the citizens will have a greater level of credibility for us. The military will have a greater pride, and it will become stronger. And the Republic of Korea will become the center of the security of the Northeast Asia region. And I believe and I'm confident that our military has such capability. I, together with the rest of the citizens, trust our military. Second, from the commander to the soldiers, the military needs to be full of pride and patriotism. Military power does not only come from weapons. The pride of the military is the foundation of our military power. We need to root out any corruptions. This not only decreases the level of credibility, but it also brings disgrace for all of the people engaged in the military and defense industry as well as the military itself. And throughout the whole process, we need to root out any corruption. The soldiers' human rights need to be secured, and we need to reform greatly the working conditions. And this I urge to the higher level of commanders. When I see soldiers wearing uniforms, I feel, and you must feel together with the rest of the parents. Every single soldier man are their children, and they are the sons and daughters of the homeland. And the nation has the responsibility to return them back safe and sound to their families. And please have a great sense of responsibility and join me in reforming the welfare of our soldiers. Gender equality, stronger human rights, and a reform of the military legal system. And these are some areas that we need to reform. And now I urge the soldiermen. You yourselves are very valuable, so do not forget this. And for you, you don't have the nation's responsibility, but you also have the responsibility to return back to your family and the society with a healthier and more sound body. And the administration and I myself will help you. We will reduce the number of service time, and we will increase the wages, and we will increase support for your self-development, and we will carry out and tackle the tasks in order to improve the working conditions. We will make the nation even more proud by reforming and improving the military culture. Please think of yourselves and others as more valuable. And my fellow citizens, throughout history, we have converted many difficulties into opportunities. And we have defended our nation. And we have proven that security is not just by words, but it's by actions and behaviors. Peace as well is not something that's only chanted, and it can be only sustained through endurance and patience. The administration believes in such power of the Republic of Korea and will walk in the path of a stronger security and peace. A strong and immediate military reform will help make a strong military that will protect peace in the nation, and it will be able to secure the rest of the citizens. The military is carrying out its capability very well. In any circumstances, it has great courage, and it's full of courage to fight for the country. As fish can only live in water, a strong military can only be possible with the love and the support from the rest of the citizens. And the military will always stand together with the people, and please give them your full support and encouragement. My servicemen, the missions and the determinations of our military is ever more important. Please have great pride in those as a safeguard for the peace of your homeland. And we will always, and I will always be with you so that you will walk in a pride path as military personnel. And once again, I would like to congratulate you on the 69th Armed Forces Day, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
대통령께는 선언 자리로 복귀하시겠습니다. 이어서 북핵과 미사일 대응을 위한 삼축 체계.
And yes, we just heard the president give his commemorative speech marking the early Armed Forces Day today, and now they're going to play a short clip at where the actual event is taking place on the Triad military drills against North Korea's missile and nuclear threats. But Professor, I just want to delve into and brush upon some of the points that President Moon Jae-in had mentioned during his commemorative speech. First of all, what was your response after listening to the Liberal president to give his remarks for the first time taking office?
We heard what we expect from him. Yeah, but in the context, we have to see the president's message in the political, cultural, and social context, and not just actual script as well. So maybe we can see the similar content from John Doo-hwan, No Tae-woo, or former president special remarks on the military parade and Armed Forces Day. But in this situation and in this political and social context, and people expected behavior of a president, a liberal president, and maybe we can see some key point of this script. And firstly, he is very honored he gives honor to the sacrificed service member, especially during the NLL conflict against North Korea. This is very important, and in his speech, and he emphasized, and because some conservative people are concerned about the Moon Jae-in's approach to the special NLL issue, but he mentioned about he honor of this service member. So this is a very crucial point in this context. Also, he emphasized on the strong defense capability based on the Triad system. Actually, as I said earlier, the kill-chain system, and KAMD system, and KMPR. So this is very important, especially in this situation. North Korea conducted the 6th nuclear test.
And the entire 5-6 minute long speech with a stern voice and a strong stances with his facial expressions that we could, pick up on, because previously, even yesterday, when President was making remarks marking the Koreans' Day, he was trying to go for a peaceful way of resolving the North Korea issue, hinting at some of the humanitarian aids that the government is pushing for, some of the two-track approaches that we've been seeing under the Moon administration. But seeing this liberal leader on the stage giving a stern message with a firm face on, gives another message to both the Koreans and the troops, saying that he's not going to back down one bit when it comes to military deterrence against North Korea. And some of the key points that I've picked up on was military reform he mentioned during his speech, something that he's been bolstering ever since during the presidential election being held in May, and cementing alliance with the U.S., and boosting human rights all along. And he said one mission is clear, that making North Korea give up its nuclear and missile weapons program, and doing so while pressing the South Korean government to hit right back with a strong countermeasures. How did you see those remarks? South Korea's countermeasures with a triad system that you've mentioned.
Yeah, triad system is a kind of highlight issue, especially in this Armed Forces Day, and also all president event, especially that the president hosted, have all kind of political message, also kind of strategic communication objective. So you mentioned about the face or nuance or remarked by President.
Today it's quite a different stance that we've been seeing from the President.
He had to show up, not show up, but show as a strong commander-in-chief. And his reputation as a human rights lawyer or chief of staff to the President Roh Moo-hyun is very famous. But sometimes, especially people or journalists in the Western country easily forget he is military service.
He did serve as a special forces soldier.
So he has a lot of capability, especially in defense issue. Today, so we maybe probably see the after presidential remarks in the most of the event hosted by special forces as well. So he showed as his strong leadership as well as a commander-in-chief in this event and in this message as well. So.
And something also from his commemorative remarks, he's ordered the armed forces with a mission touching base with the military reform to better increase the trust of the Korean people as it is required of them, and to earn their trust back. And to do that, ordering them to become a winning military, to become a military forces that wins in the face of any threats coming into North Korea. It's also boasting Korea's KAMD missile defense system, as you've mentioned. So is this something you say, something that we've been seeing from previous administrations of ordering the military to win a war, or should it be necessary?
Yeah, maybe example, when you see the Jeon Do-hwan or Roh Tae-woo or Lee Myung-bak or Roh Moo-hyun speech in the armed forces, the actual script is very similar. But this message we have to see in the context and in the situation. So he included kind of a diverse issue, human rights and gender rights, and kind of similar to Obama administration issue 10 years ago.
And now we're going to the second fleet where the event is taking place in Pyeongtaek. We are now seeing the United Soldiers and the high-altitude stunts by joint paratroopers. As you've said, a lot of these events taking place right after his commemorative speech are also in line with some of the drills that President Moon had served while he was serving for the Special Armed Forces back in the days.
As well, right? This kind of event are always conducted in the Armed Forces Day, but for this day, it is special because in this situation, we have emphasized on kind of a special troops operation to not assassinate but destroy the center of gravity in North Korea, just
or
like
other
the
enemies.
yeah, right. So in this context, this is very important image.
So we are seeing a joint group of paradropping, and they're from the Special Forces who are capable of conducting operations in sky, as you've mentioned, land and sea. And I believe they're jumping off of from 2,000 meters in midair, and for some we've seen is releasing their chutes from about 1,200 meters above the ground level. And we understand some 39 military special elite members, including the 9 female members, are taking part in the action. What are some of the mindsets of these special troops while they're showcasing some of the drills and when they run off from the planes to conduct their drills?
Yeah, it was special. Yeah, it was special. When I was at Korean Military Academy, I had a similar exercise, and one of my female colleagues did it, and she has a kind of operation. Her name is Yoo Kyung-hee. She is now the major, but this is a kind of very strong capability that a soldier have to have. So this is a very special moment for special forces.
What's the buildup of such forces and conducting such drills? Because you've just mentioned that you have a similar experience in doing some of the drills back in the days. What are some of the buildup practices that they go through?
Yeah, I'm not a right person to present how
Reflecting
I
upon
experienced
your experience.
Yeah, great. But Special Forces troops has a definitely a special training program in very far from the infantry soldier. They have a kind of a special training system, especially in physical, and also they have a similar exercise on 1,000 times and 1,000 times. So they're more focusing on this kind of special extent, special mission. Their mission is they have to go in the back area of North Korea or in war zone, not just front area, because they have to have their mission is killing a key figure of enemy or destroying a key system or command control system. But special forces are always the matter in every country, especially Russian airborne or American special troops are very famous on Israel as well. So.
And we are seeing the parachutes drop as they fall off the sky.
Today is very nice weather, right?
Yes, it's easy to spot those special troops in air, especially given the great
행사장
weather
상공과
conditions today.
전광판을 주목해 주십시오. 지금 두 번째 항공기에서 4명의 강하자가 자색 연막을 뿌리며 수직으로 급속 하강하고 있습니다.
Today is 150 special forces participating in this event, right?
Total 150 special troops.
And some of American soldiers as well.
Yes. So all throughout the entire ceremony taking place, the location of it being in Pyeongtaek, where the U.S. forces had just moved to its new location, and the ceremony of where President Moon handing out his medal to the U.S. Commander-in-Chief for the first time in history that we have something that we haven't seen before, and also giving a remark during his speech where he says cementing the bilateral relations with the U.S. and also including those U.S. troops within this entire parade event is also significant in a way, giving both Koreans and the U.S. that the bilateral alliance is stronger than ever, because in the past few weeks we were able to spot some of the discord in their wordings as President Trump was going very hard on the line with North Korea, while President Moon said it's without Korea's consent, it's not going to happen that the war will break out on the Korean Peninsula, giving us some pundits that maybe the two leaders have different mindsets when it comes to countering North Korea.
Concerned, right?
But through this commemorative event today, closing in on that remarks that the two leaders differ when it comes to dealing with North Korea, that they're on the same page and their alliance is stronger than ever. How do you see this?
Yeah, as you know, there was two major concerns when Moon Jae-in became president and Donald Trump became president, because Donald Trump kind of unexpected behavior or message, always everyday treater. And Moon Jae-in, Washington D.C. community concerned about he is a kind of a second generation of Romuhian citizen. But from this event, Pyeongtaek area is a new place for the ROK U.S. headquarters, and I'm a member of a strategic commander shaping board as well. So Pyeongtaek place is also very important message as well, and this kind of event hosted by ROK U.S. forces has also a strong message. So the location for Pyeongtaek has three major messages from my perspective. First thing is, as we discussed, the NLL issue, and secondly, the area has a Cheonan ship, and second thing is defense reform issue, focusing on the jointness. So this is the Navy fleet. So Moon Jae-in emphasized the jointness, force structure, and military services as well. And the final thing is, as you mentioned, about the ROK U.S. alliances in Pyeongtaek. So.
And we are seeing a lot of those special forces making their landings on ground with their parachutes in different colors, with some of the flags we're seeing.
Yeah, Joint Chief of Staff, yeah.
Representing their own units and the Korean flags, of course.
Yeah. So that trip did a lot of exercise for this event, yeah, as you expected. So. And Minister of National Defense flag, right? And the Army, and the Navy, and their forces.
And once they all come down on ground, we are expecting some of the Air Force demonstration to take place in the air again, showcasing different types of warplanes and helicopters.
And the Special Forces Command flag as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This administration emphasized on special forces as well, because in terms of cost-benefit analysis or in terms of the asymmetric strategy, the special forces played a key role because of their function.
Which could be the reason why they're centering the entire ceremony of today's commemorative event.
Right.
And the shoots in formation with all three
ROK
now
US.
separating.
여러분, 행사장 상공 육계단 모양의 대형을 주목해 주십시오.
The weather is very important for this kind of event. Because of,
Yes,
if
should
they
there
have
be
a-
any rain in the forecast,
Yes,
a lot of
storm
these
or-
Air Force demonstrations, along with the parachute demonstration, would have been scrapped and have been replaced with video
Absolutely,
clips. But
absolutely.
today we're able to see a lot of the military forces coming down from the air with clear sky behind them.
So always military parades matter in terms of the kind of image of the state. Especially the famous thing is Russian military parade for Victory Day. The 9th of May is a Victory Day to win Nazi army some decades ago. So they have a very big military parade, and this is kind of patriotic movement.
오늘 고공 강화는 강한 안보,
I mean, it's difficult to showcase every military equipment and special forces and different military units on this ceremonial day, not just in Korea, but also in North Korea and other countries as well. But if you were to level the differences between the two Koreas' ability in their military forces, how would you see them in terms of, we briefly mentioned it in the earlier part of the special edition, but in terms of its equipment and weaponry used by the regime and the size of the troops, what are the differences of the military strengths between the two Koreas? How is South Korea on the upper hand when it comes to military
Yes,
forces?
our major concern is nuclear weapons and missile system. In terms of their perspective, this is a very efficient military strategic tool because of in terms of cost-benefit analysis. But as you know, North Korean military unit or the KPA, Korean People's Army, had a lot of problem, corruption and leadership problem, and young people avoid their military system, and even prostitution and the drug issue. So we have to consider all this matter, and loyalty issue is important. According to Clausewitz, and three things is important for victory of war, and widow people, government, and the army. So we have to be proud of our armed forces.
And let me break it right there. We're seeing the Air Force demonstration covering the sky. Coming in formation is the looks like it's the helicopters forces.
전천후로 탁월한 기동 능력을 갖고 있으며 의무 후송 헬기로도 활약을 하고 있습니다. 이어서 후면은 블랙호크 중형 기동 헬기입니다.
Each serves as a helicopter unit, just like U.S. Army. So
다음으로 진입하는 헬기는 해군 해상 작전 헬기인 AW-159와 린스입니다. 적 장소함과 수상함을 탐지해 어뢰와 유도탄을 이용해 공격할 수 있는 우수한 헬기입니다.
the Army has the Apache AH-64 and BO-105 and Cobra and famous Surya and Black Hawk unit, while Air Forces have the Chuseok and the Navy has P-3C.
편대가 행사장에 진입하고 있습니다.
So we can see the RF-16 and F-15K today, and F-5, FA-50, and KF-16 or
2013년부터 한반도 전 지역을 중첩 감시하고 아군의 항공기를 지휘 통제할 수 있는 조기 경보 통제기입니다.
Also, this kind of air power supported tried system as well, because targeting and detecting 4D operation is important. So reconnaissance capability is very crucial for tried system, the kill chain and KAMD.
대한민국의 영공과 해양 주권을 완벽히 수호하고 있습니다.
PCI의 고성능 레이더는 360도 전방위 감시가 가능합니다. 공중 감시 임무와 지휘 통제를 통해 대한민국 영공방위에 중추적 역할을 수행하고 있습니다.
This is a kind of a radar system is very important for the trial system. So it's very special message to the international community, including North Korea. They have a capability to maintain a trial system against North Korea provocation.
And now it looks like we will be seeing some of the Air Force flying by with the K-15 F-15Ks leading the formation. And as we know, the F-15K is the fighter jet that flew over the Korean Peninsula alongside the U.S. B-1 bombers in the international waters this past weekend. That's the time when the flyover operation was taking place at the farthest point north of the demilitarized zone for the first time in centuries.
Air power matter because especially during the Korean War, those Korean people always loved the air war. always dominated by the U.S. Air Forces, and because they have now a strong air defense capability or bunker because of that experience. So today, one of the major concern of that North Korea has is air power, especially by the ROK and U.S. forces. So.
The F-15Ks leading the formation, entering the
그 뒤를 이어
ceremonial
신속한
place.
대응 시간과 우수한 저고도 기동 성능을 바탕으로 한반도 영공방위의 최일선에서 활약하고 있는 F-5 제공호 편대가 진입하고 있습니다.
And these are, as you mentioned, the F-5 fighter jets capable of defeating the enemy by being one of the first ones to arrive at the site. So that means that they're really fast when it comes to speed.
Yeah.
이어서 FA-50 편대가 진입하고 있습니다.
And following is the FA-50 fighter jet, which we'll show. And that is a domestic fighter made with Korea's technology, and it's the jet that's capable of sharing information at wartime and identifies allies and its enemies.
The ROK Air Forces have a kind of air show in the UK or in international event as well. So it's very famous in that area. So.
핵심적인 역할을 담당하고 있습니다.
내외 기빈 여러분, 전투기 기동의 마지막으로 F-15K 전투기 세대가 대한민국의 번영과
So air and navy powers means projection of power, not just inside the peninsula against North Korea, but outside the peninsula.
So in the international waters as well.
Yeah, right. International water as a middle power that is pursued.
And wrapping up the Air Force flybys, the
지금 보시는 F-15K
F-15Ks.
편대 전투 기동은 한반도의 안녕과 평화의 수호자, 대한민국을 지키는 가장 높은 힘, 공군을 상징하고 있습니다.
North Korea has massive ground forces, including very old types of tanks and field archery. So air power have to deter their provocation, especially in the war event. So.
And in recent days, we've been seeing a lot of flyovers, both from the U.S. mainland Guam and from Japan, alongside with Korea's own fighter jets flying over the waters near North Korean border and its waters as well as the South Korean.
공군의 자랑, 세계
Yes.
최고 수준인
Psychological
블랙 이글스
effect, or
팀의 멋진
some people
특수
say
비행이
psychological war
펼쳐지겠습니다.
better as a concept of hybrid warfare. Many people now understand.
의지와 국민에 대한 충성을 맹세하는 빅 에로 대응으로 진입하고 있습니다.
Black Eagles, right?
대한민국 공군 특수 비행팀 블랙 이글스입니다.
8 Black Eagles aircraft.
Yes, the Black Eagles performance. It is also South Korea's Air Force aerobatic display team. 8 of the Black Eagles are approaching with a big aero formation, which you saw.
여러분께 첫 인사를 드리고
The
있습니다.
Black Eagles performance is very famous for, especially in the level of international stage, because they conducted this kind of event in world event, air show. So we have to be proud of
여러분 큰 박수
our
Right,
부탁드립니다.
displaying the team's determination in protecting the nation with a series of different formation to be displayed as we speak.
여덟 대 블랙 이글스 항공기들은 독수리 모양의 스팅어 대응을 형성하였습니다. 여러분 좌측 상공입니다.
It was a very difficult performance because possibility.
다시 한번 블랙 이글스 항공기들은 좌측 상공에서 진입하겠습니다.
very close
이번에는
between
국군의 상징
left and
팀워크를
right.
유지하면서 다시 한번 하늘로 솟구치는 수직 원형 기동을
Very dangerous
보여드리겠습니다.
also.
We often hear news about
좌측 상공입니다.
F-15, Korea's F-15K jets flying with the US B-1 bombers, but we rarely hear the Black Eagles in operation in conjunction with the US forces. Is it normally that the Black Eagles work independently when it comes to working on drills or carrying out missions? How does that work?
Sometimes they join the combined exercise, but sometimes not. Yeah, so it depends on what kind of exercise, it's Free Guardian or not. So
여러분 왼쪽에서부터 블랙 이글스의 다이아몬드 대형입니다.
Showing off its diamond formation with 8 Black Eagles.
excellent.
계속해서 블랙 이글스는 고난도의 연속적인 대형 변경을
Not every country
실시하겠습니다.
has kind of air power
지금 보시는
show.
대형은 세계로
Only
도약고자 하는
maybe
대한민국의
20
기계를
or 30
상징하는
countries
알바트로스
only
대형입니다.
can have this kind of air power, so we have to be proud of it. Even North Korea has airplane, but very old and they
그리고
don't
남은
have
이글
gas
대형으로
to
영공방의
support.
천병
So
전투기를 형상화한 블랙 이글스의 대표
And
대형입니다.
the different formations they're forming up there seems to be the state of the art when it comes to differing their formations while flying in the air.
지금 블랙 이글스가 선보이고 있는 8대의 유기적인 대형 변경은 고도의 협동심과 상호 간의 긴밀한 신뢰가 필수적으로 요구되는 기동이며 다른 국가에서도 쉽게 따라할 수 없어 찬사를 받고 있는 블랙 이글스만의 경쟁력입니다.
modern North Korean history teaches they really want to have a kind of modern air forces because from 1948 and to 1950, North Korean government published a kind of journal of the Inmin Hangong, people's airplane. They really want to have a kind of Soviet Union style airplane system because of it's kind of a special message that they became modernization of society.
So with today's event mainly putting a great emphasis on its air forces, could give another signal to North Korea that the country's air forces system is stronger than ever when it comes to carrying its
Absolutely,
own
yeah, in terms of defense coverage or the trial system, also making a plane is not an easy thing. It's not a simple process. This is a kind of masterpiece of science and technology. Only few countries can make their own airplane. Maybe the United Kingdom and the USA and Soviet Union. Very few countries only can make, just like car. Not many countries can make their own cars. So this is kind of
because it
very important
requires
message.
skilled
Yeah.
details and professionals.
Yeah. Also, absolutely, as well as the military capability to support the trial system against the North Korean nuclear threat.
I mean, we're seeing rows of different warplanes and air jets flying in, but we should also brush upon the fact that this day also celebrates the country's establishing of all 3 elements of military. That's the Army, Navy, and the Air Force.
Maybe we can have someday president who serve in Navy or Air Force. So far, we only have the Army guys and the Blue House. John F. Kennedy and George W. Bush was air pilot. So US as a kind of
The
president.
commander-in-chief's position, I mean, his past service to the country in the military, I guess plays a key part also when it comes to him running his own military and
Absolutely.
forces.
Without military
It does
experience,
give an
that would be very
influence as
difficult,
well.
just like Donald Trump or, okay, Bill Clinton and Obama did not have military experience, but the U.S. system is different. They have many experts inside and outside of the army. But
The fighter jet drawing a symbol
이제 정면
of
상공에서 진입하는 블랙 이글스
symbol of
항공기들이
Korea's
대한민국의
Excellent.
flag
승리를
in the air with
다섯 개의
some
방향으로
clouds.
솟구쳐 오르겠습니다.
Kind
블랙
of
이글스의
climax
마지막 기동,
of the
빅토리
show.
브레이크 기동입니다.
They also show red, blue, and red, right?
Colors that go into Korea's national flag.
이 기둥과 같이 블랙 이글스는 국군의 비상과 대한민국의 무고한 국군 융성을 기원하겠습니다. 오늘 행사를 주관해주신 대통령님께 진심으로 감사드리며 이것으로 블랙 이글스의 특수 비행을 모두 마치겠습니다.
That wraps up Black Eagle's special performance event marking the Armed Forces Day here in Korea, early one that is, 4 days prior to its actual October 1st, given that it falls in the middle of Chuseok holiday. Now, I think next lineup is the demonstration of the martial arts.
Yeah, also conducted by special forces. That
What does this signify in showing the Special Forces martial arts? What would this be when it's in place in case of any war?
Yeah, maybe we remember North Korean special forces exercise as well. They already show their strong aggressiveness and their capability. So we have also our own strong special forces. They have a very strong physical capability
정면 중앙에는 적색
and
머리띠를
tactical
착용한 18명의
capability as
여군
well.
특전 용사들이
So
포함되어
today
있습니다.
maybe they probably show their physical exercise.
귀성형은 특수작전을 한 공격과 방어 기술을 자유자재로 구사해 적을 단숨에 제압하는 실전
As President Moon remind of his own personal experience when he was in
I think it'll
special
be a
forces.
reminiscent
He
moment
did
for
the same
him.
thing, and not the same event, but
Similar drills that he's been through when serving
yeah, they have to.
the Special
They did.
Forces.
특전 용사들이 대검을 이용한 공격 및 방어 기술을 선보이고 있습니다.
So we can see some female special forces as well.
특전 용사들은
Looking back, it's nearing the end of this entire ceremony today. Professor, if you want to chip in, what sort of a significance would today's ceremony entail compared to maybe previous events that we've seen?
Yeah, we have to see event in the social, political, and cultural context. When Moon Jae-in became the president, we expect this kind of liberal president or more lean North Korean sunshine policy kind of thing. But from this event, maybe we can see the strong command-in-chief leadership. Also, Moon Jae-in's image as a special force is not just as the human rights lawyer, especially the International Committee and the Washington D.C. area. So this event is kind of has a many diverse messages, including location, the location, and Moon Jae-in's the presidential special message to people.
Highlighting the two-track approach he's been boasting ever since taking office, that he will
이번에는 특전 용사들이
support
특수작전
North
수행과
Koreans
공격하는 적을 일거에
with humanitarian
제압하는
aid
실전 살상
to
기술을
those young
보시겠습니다.
North Koreans
지금 보실
in
근접
famine,
전투술은
and while
남녀
also
특전
pushing
용사들이
for
일대
strong
다수를
military
제압하는 실전
deterrence.
겨루기로
Like this, we've
정면
seen today,
중앙에서
President
진행되겠습니다.
Moon coming up with a
그럼
stern
지금부터
face,
안
giving
되면
the
되게
commemorative
하라.
remarks
국가와 국민을 위해
that
충성을 다하는
South Korean
세계
military is
최강
not backing
특전
down when it
용사들의
comes to
실전 겨루기를
deterring
보시겠습니다.
North Korean threats.
So for this event, Moon Jae-in maybe avoid the kind of message to humanitarian things, and because for this event, this is an event for the strong defense capability against North Korean
특전 여군이
provocation.
적 2명을 제압하고
So
있습니다.
President have a diverse event, including May 18 ceremony some months ago. At the time, he became kind of human rights lawyer, has a warm-hearted. And today's event is he have to show.
And that's when he also approached some of the peaceful way of resolving the North Korean
Absolutely,
issue.
yeah. His final strategic objective is a peaceful Korean Peninsula by peaceful means, including negotiation between the two, including possibly U.S. and Japan.
And we've just seen a demonstration of the special forces
특전여군이
showing
대검과
how to
서초로
suppress an
무장한
enemy in
4명의 적을
case
완전히 제압하고 있습니다.
while facing them with not much of an equipment or
In the war event, the special forces have to go in the back area of the conflict zone, not just front area, for their missions, assassination or destroying key posts, including plant or Pyongyang key post, including Chuseok or that kind of place. So they have to have a strong physical, individual
남녀
capability.
특전 용사들이 대리석과 기와를 격파하겠습니다.
and the special forces demonstrating yet another
Right?
strength of smashing some of the are those rocks laid in front of them to
Including
show
female.
their strength? Yes, both male and female on display.
특전 용사가 공중으로 도약해 대리석을 격파하겠습니다.
특전 용사들이 평소 모세처럼 달려있는
Journalists in Western cultures always have a kind of joke on when they watch the South Korean Special Forces kind of event or North Korean thing. But it was very special, yeah. And
It's not something that you would see elsewhere, but in Korea.
Yeah, it was very. Even when you deploy our peacekeeping forces in Africa or East Timor kind of thing, they have that kind of performance, not the same capability, but our peacekeeping forces
Similar
from
to those
the Rock Army,
demonstrations.
show the kind of taekwondo or performance things to their local area citizens.
자랑스러운 특전 용사들에게 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다.
And I think with that wraps up today's Armed Forces Day ceremony. If you were to put it in one line, what would you say about today's ceremony under the new Liberal president?
I think it's a very successful event, especially in showing up our defense capability based on the trial system, including the kill chain, KAMD, and PR. Also very important event in the Moon Jae-in administration's message to the international community that we have our own defense capability against the North Korean provocation while they pursue the peaceful solution, including negotiation.
Right, and not to mention that the Liberal president's influence of him serving for the Special Force, taking upon today's ceremony with a lot of the demonstrations from the Air Force unit and with the Special Forces presenting with some martial arts.
Yeah, also, Special Forces martial art and air power of the Rock Army. And Rock U.S. Alliances as well, one of the parachuting exercises conducted by Rock U.S. soldiers at the same time.
And with that, about an hour and a little over half commemorative ceremony on this 69th Armed Forces Day. That's actually the October 1st. That's slated for that commemorative day anniversary.
Right.
But it's taking place 4 days prior to that, as that day this
long
year
holiday.
Yes, falls on the weekend when a lot of Koreans go on a long holiday for their Chuseok vacation. Now, that's a wrap of our coverage of Korea's 69th Armed Forces Day ceremony, a fitting event that boasts South Korea's military forces in the face of heightened tensions in and around the region. Thank you, Professor, for coming in and giving your insights today. And we will have a wrap-up of the day's event a little later, so keep it tuned to Arirang TV for more news updates. And our next news bulletin is coming up in about half an hour's time at noon Korea time. As always, thank you for watching.